It's Christmas. Who else feels like this is Christmas a little bit? Like a little bit. Raise your hand. Or better than Christmas. I'm joking. We all know the true meaning of Christmas. Don't come at me in the comments. I'm just joking. But curriculum shopping is exciting, and sharing and seeing what other people get, it's still exciting nonetheless. Not for everybody. I understand some of us, it's just like a necessary evil that we have to do in order to continue the next school year. But I really love it. I know a lot of you do too. These are my favorite videos to shoot in a year, and I'm celebrating 3 years on YouTube. In my first ones, we're sharing curriculum for what would have been my kindergartner, my second grader, and my fourth grader, and now they're going to be in third grade, fifth grade, and seventh grade, and it's craziness. So anyway, we're gonna get right into it. We do a lot of, I have my curriculum surrounding me. We have a lot of our subjects. We do family style, and then anything independent where they have to do on grade level, language arts, math, handwriting, things like that, they do separately. So a good chunk of our curriculum I will be sharing today, and then in the next coming days, weeks, I will be sharing individual videos for what they will be, each of my girls will be using for their grades. So keep an eye out for that one as well. Okay, so first, what do family subjects include? That is going to look different for everybody. For us, that is always our Bible. It's going to be our science. It's going to be history. And then something else, maybe poetry. In the past, it has been like music and art, and I'm trying to think what else. This year, it's been emotional well-being and all of that. So it's just going to depend, but that's generally those three main things is what I aim to accomplish in our homeschool: science, Bible, and history. And then if we add anything else on top of that, which we will, and I'll share in just a minute, some extras that we're gonna add. So first, let's start with science. If you have followed me for a while, probably none of this is new to you. We are gonna be going for probably our last year. I hate to say this, probably our last year though, of the good and the beautiful science. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. We love it. We have just done almost all of the units. I realized after this year, almost all of the units that they have out, we've done already. And so we might move on from the good and the beautiful. Again, they're great, but my oldest will be in 8th grade after next year, and she will just need to be doing something probably more on her grade level to prepare for high school and things like that. And then that will leave my other two, and we'll just kind of play it by ear. I don't know, I'm not worried about the following year. I'm just talking about next year for now, but just to kind of give a heads up. So first we have botany. And then it comes with, if you're not familiar with the good and the beautiful for their science, it is science units. So it's more than just a chapter on plants, but it's also not like a whole entire year on botany. And so that's what you generally find when you get different curriculum. Sometimes it's like they're cramming so much into a year that you only get a little bit of a snippet. And then there's other curriculum that they teach an entire year on. And so I like that this is a nice, somewhere in the middle. So we'll do botany, and then I have journals corresponding. This is the 7th to 8th grade journal. This will be obviously for my 7th grader. And then there's 3rd to 6th grade journals available as well. And they also have, they just released, I don't have them. I'm not affiliated with the good and the beautiful, but they have kindergarten through 2nd grade journals to go along with some of these units. So check out that website as well, because I think my 2nd grader would have really loved that, but they just came out this year, so, or just recently. Next we have weather and water. So again, we have the journals to go along with this. My 7th grader, how I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging for her. The difference between the 7th and 8th grade journals and the 3rd to 6th, they have the same activity sheets, but the 7th grade adds extensions. So I'll just show you here. This would be an extension. It would just kind of it gives like a news article, and then usually you're writing about it or doing like a little written project. So in 6th grade, she does have this, I have her to read the lesson extensions just for her own knowledge. And then starting in 7th grade though, for next year, I'm gonna have her do all the activities, the written activities that she needs to do to just make it that one step up a little bit more. She's for sure in middle school now, so she can handle that little bit of an extra challenge. Kingdoms and Classifications is our next one. And then lastly, only my 7th grader will be doing this. This is chemistry. And I bought the book packs to go along with it. All of the units from The Good and the Beautiful have optional picture books to go along with it that coincide. So I didn't get any this year, but I did for the chemistry because she really wanted to do chemistry. It was kind of out of left field. I'm surprised about that one, but she wanted to do it and she wanted the books. So it's a book of elements. I'm gonna kind of flip through this. She's gonna give a little bit, I think, I haven't even looked at these honestly. She's gonna give a little bit of info about some of the elements, okay? The Story of Alice Ball, all right. And then this is a whole chapter book on Marie Curie. So this will be one, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this because just she alone has this, and then actually I'll also, my upcoming 3rd grader is gonna do one of their Little Hearts and Hands. They have The Good and the Beautiful also has like a kindergarten to 2nd or 3rd grade curriculum for science that's just designated to that. It's only like 30 lessons. So I don't know how I'm going to figure all of it out, but we will figure it out. And then to add with that, we did this year, but we did not complete it. We added Sonlight Science C, and that was aimed to grades from grades 3rd to 5th grade. And again, mine are 2nd to 6th grade. I definitely think what we did get to, I will say, we did not get to all of it. So I think I'm going to carry some of that over into next year. But we did get into, a lot of it was on a higher level. And some of it was like over even my 6th grader's head. And I'll talk more about that at my end of the year review for that. But we will continue our Sonlight science. We corresponded it with what we were talking about with The Good and the Beautiful. We kind of made those units all overlap. And I think that's what I'm going to try to do for next year as well. So then moving on from there, I had wanted to do kind of like an apologetics Bible this year. I wasn't sure what I wanted, so I picked up a couple things, and then I'm going to show you what we're actually going to go with. So a couple things I was considering was, or actually bought, not considering. This I got from Masterbooks. This is how the Bible works. And I'm just going to be honest, as soon as it arrived, it's really hard sometimes to tell in a sample. So that's why I like watching YouTube videos. But how the Bible works, as soon as I got this, I was like, this is not going to work for us. It's just, it's vague. It's just using pictures and some, I don't know. This is just not what I was looking for. But then I also got quick answers to tough questions. Do you have the tools to defend your faith? So it's an apologetics book. And then One Blood for Kids, what the Bible says about race. I was contemplating doing that, but I wasn't quite sure. I was also looking at like the Case for Christ. And so what I'm going to share in just a minute will kind of explain all of it. So I think I'm going to save this for either another year or the summer, or I'm not sure exactly what and when we'll be doing this as of this filming of this video, but I am going to use these two. I'm going to just not use this one. It doesn't look bad. It's just not exactly what I'm looking for. So put a pin in that for just a second. I'm going to jump to history and then I'll jump back. For history, we have done Beautiful Feet books, the early American history for the elementary. So it's like the picture book version of that. And with that, I also added some Sonlight books and Bookshark book recommendations into our year. And I can't wait to share about that in my other video because it's been a really good year. Anyway, so for next year, I was considering, I really want to go with a literature-based history. So I did a lot of research. I wanted to obviously continue and not just stop with early American history. I wanted to continue to bring it all the way up to modern history before we start to go back into to ancient history. I was narrowing it down between Beautiful Feet books, and I was also looking at Bookshark / Sonlight, but pretty much Bookshark. If you don't know, Bookshark and Sonlight, they're they're like the same thing, except Sonlight is a Christian version and Bookshark is neutral / secular. So I reached out to a friend of mine. She's actually on YouTube and her kids are a little bit older than mine. And she has done both curriculums. And she told me that, you know, from her experience, which she has personally just had, the ones from Beautiful Feet seem just a little bit like a notch above. And she was like, they seem definitely more like upper middle school, which again, I have a 3rd grader, a 5th grader, and a 7th grader to keep in mind. I was like, okay, that helped me a lot. And so I did narrow it down and I was going to go with Bookshark. And then I just happened to check out Sonlight, which is again, the exact same thing. Sorry for the long story. I hope you don't mind chattiness. I was going to go with Bookshark and go that route. I just happened to check Sonlight though. And again, they're the same exact thing, except Sonlight has a Bible portion incorporated into it. And it's coming like more from like a biblical standpoint. So seeing their Bible portion, I was like, oh, let me just go with Sonlight, because their Bible portion had the case for Christ, the case for faith, and the case for a creator. That was what they recommended for their Bible. They also have another Bible book that they are recommending and teaching from as well. I can't remember what it's called. I don't have it. I still have yet to order that one, honestly. But we're going to do that one as well. So I said, okay, that works perfectly, because I literally, this has been on my list of things to read. I was like going to either read it this summer or next summer or at some point. I really wanted to get these for my girls. And I was like, okay, well, that answers that. I was praying about what direction to go in, and I feel like that was a good answer to prayer. I just felt peaceful about that decision. So I was excited when I saw that, because they're going to tell me exactly when to read it, how many pages, and they can even ask discussion questions and things like that. So that is perfect. So we're going to go with Sonlight HBL, which stands for History, Bible, and Literature, E, which is around the Civil War time to modern American history. So I have some of the books that I'm going to be sharing. I do not have everything. And the reason for that is because some of the books that they have and they recommend we'll just be listening to on audio. It would change it up a little bit so they're not constantly hearing me read everything. Okay, so first it's going to be, the main spine is this DK Smithsonian American History, a visual encyclopedia. That will be the spine. Another spine is going to be the World Wars. Another one is going to be the Landmark History of the American People. It's a little bit beat up. I got all of these secondhand, either through, most of them came from eBay. So they're a little bit beat up, but they'll get the job done. All right, so that is going to be the history part of it. And what they are going to do is they are going to incorporate literature. So they have some readers, which are going to be, the kids are going to be assigned to read. And then they have read alouds, which we will be doing all together as a group. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do this yet, but I'm going to just have a designated section. I might overlap. I might do one of the readers out loud and then have one of the read alouds, have my daughter read it to herself. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure that out later, but I never stick to everything, any curriculum, like 100% by the book. I always like to tweak things and make it my own, which I'm sure I will do for this one. So some of the books that I have that are included: Helen Keller, Thimble Summer, General Butterfingers. Now they have an option of 4 days a week or 5 days a week. I chose the 5 days a week option. A Letter to Mrs. Roosevelt, King of the Mound, The 17th Swap, Henry Reed Inc. Incorporated, William Wilberforce. This was actually the Bookshark recommended one. It just looked a lot more interesting. They have another William Wilberforce one for Sonlight, but this one just looked better. And so I got that one. This is Lights in a Dark Place. This is the True Stories of God's Work in Colombia. So I'm interested to see how they kind of interweave, you know, God's work in Colombia to what American history is. Like, I'm just curious, like how they kind of interweave those stories. This is the Great Wheel. Henry over here. In Search of the Source. This is a first encounter with God's Word. And I think this is also, I just want to make sure, yeah, this is in Papua New Guinea. So again, I'm just interested in seeing how they're going to kind of weave that in. And then we have A Summer of Sundays, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, Turn Homeward, Hannah Lee, Plain Girl, Old Yeller. I've never read this one, so I want to read this one. Shades of Grey, The True Story of Harriet Tubman, Freedom Train. And then we have The Great Turkey Walk. And then this one is not part of it, but I wanted to add it in. It's called Prairie Lotus, and it says, Hannah is half Chinese and she knows from experience that most white people don't want neighbors who aren't white themselves. So this is like, you never really hear of Asian prairie, people in the prairie who were Asian. Like, I've never heard any stories like that. My oldest has actually read this a couple years ago and she said it was good. So we're going to read this one all together. Linda Sue Park, she's written a couple other things that we like. And so I am going to add that one. And then I'm also adding Esperanza Rising. It's about a girl from Mexico who has to come over in she's like well off, her family's well off in Mexico. They come over to, I believe, California around like the Great Depression era. And so we're going to read about that one. I actually have it somewhere around here. Somewhere in my multiple stacks of books, it's here. And then that is not all inclusive. Again, if you check out, I'll link below Sonlight's list, it's going to have a bunch more readers and read alouds, but I was able to find those for free on audio. And so we will just listen to some of those rather than just reading all of it. It'll give me a break, it'll give them a break, and we just like to have things to listen to too. Kind of changes it up a little bit. And then they also have a poetry book called, I think it's called How to Eat a Poem. I still have to grab that one too. So I'm gonna get that one. I don't know if that will be our main poetry book for the year or if we'll get something else. I'll just have to see. And then the last thing that Sonlight has is they have a couple CDs. I'm not gonna get those. I don't have a CD player. I don't know if anybody even does anymore. Like, I don't know. I feel so old. But yeah, I'm just not going to get those. And then no real reason. I'm not choosing to get them. So I have like 98% of this figured out. The little things here and there, I'm not too worried about. And then we are also going to be adding, I just finished with my daughter it's called The Fallacy Detective. We actually just finished this book today and it's really good. It's about critical thinking, logic, how to detect fallacies, propaganda, assumptions, things like that. So we just finished that together, me and my oldest one. And then I have ordered this for her. This is the Thinking Toolbox. And this is how to build reasoning skills. But I realized, I was like, I want all of my girls to do this and I don't want to have to keep going over this same book over and over with every single one of them. Like, let's just do it all in one fell swoop. I'm going to add this to our morning time family group subjects just so that we can do it all together. It's 35 lessons. So even if you do it once or twice a week, that should be plenty to get it done within a school year. And then I'm still on the hunt for a good habit training, character training book. We have been using the Charlotte Mason Laying Down the Rails, and although I do like it, some of my kids like it, some of my kids don't. I don't know, it's just not exactly hitting exactly what I want. I can't put my finger on it. Sometimes it leaves things a little bit too vague and then I skip lessons, and then, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but when I find it, I'll know what it is. And if I do find it, I will share. So maybe we won't do that this year, this next coming year. Maybe we will, I don't know, but I don't want to just get something just to get it and just for the sake of having it. Our plates are pretty full already. If I find something, that's great. If not, that's okay too. That is it as of now. I don't anticipate adding anything else, but I might. You never know. You never know. It's still early. It's only April at this point when I'm sharing this. And so, but I think we're good. I think we're pretty solid with what we're going to be doing. And I'm excited about this. This also, I just want to add also, we will do read alouds too. This isn't including that. I will share a whole separate video on like some ideas and some things that I'm thinking about for next year's read aloud. So if you want to stick around, make sure you subscribe so you can see those type of videos too. And again, as well as all my curriculum individual choices. And then at the couple weeks, I'm going to share my reviews for what we use this year, if I recommend it, if I don't recommend it, all that good stuff. So anyway, if you did like this video, you could give it a thumbs up, give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.